C15O may sound obscure, but it keeps popping up in the places people look for evidence, in food data, lab reports, and even ingredient lists. When you see C15O, that's just the shorthand for pentadecanoic acid, which is also called pentadecanoic acid. Chemically, it's an odd-chain saturated fatty acid with 15 carbon atoms, and its molecular formula is C15H30O2. In Chebi, pentadecanoic acid is defined very plainly as a straight-chain saturated fatty acid with 15 carbon atoms. Lipid Maps puts it in the same family too, under straight-chain fatty acids within the broader fatty acid class. And in Food Data Central, you'll see 15:0 listed with saturated fatty acids like 14:0, 16:0, and 18:0. Researchers report pentadecanoic acid in a esterified form in ruminant milk fat, and they also identify it across many bacterial species. HMDB broadens that picture even more, noting it in plants and ruminants, with dairy fat and ruminant meat standing out as notable food sources. Depending on the database, this same compound might appear as pentadecanoic acid, pentadecanoic acid, C15O, Fa15:0, or 15:0. Scientists pay attention to C15O in part because it's one of the measurable odd-chain fatty acids that comes up again and again in lipid research. Across reviews and database records, it also shows up as a practical marker people use when they're analyzing foods and mapping lipid profiles. And published studies don't limit it to one niche source. They report it in milk, dairy products, and some non-dairy foods too, which makes it useful in broader compositional surveys. In the lab, C15O is a routine peak people look for after fatty acids are turned into methyl esters, pentyl esters, or closely related derivatives, then run by GCMS or GC with flame ionization detection. And this isn't just informal lab practice. Reference methods for milk and mixed foods explicitly include C15O in the fatty acids they quantify, so it shows up in standardized reporting too. Once fatty acid profiling is part of the workflow, C15O can show up in ordinary business documents too, like ingredient listings, product specifications, and the lab reports teams use to verify composition. You might also see it reported by analytical labs and quality control methods across fats, oils, dairy matrices, and fully formulated products, which is why the name keeps resurfacing in so many technical contexts. When you're cross-checking a database entry or reading a chromatogram, search more than one label. Look for C15O, pentadecanoic acid, pentadecanoic acid, or Fa15:0, so the same signal doesn't hide behind a different name. In food databases, you'll usually find it tied to dairy and other ruminant-derived materials first. But don't stop there, because it's not exclusive to those sources, and that assumption can make you overlook where else it appears. So that obscure label from the beginning isn't so obscure after all. C15O is a specific fatty acid, and once you know its names, you can spot it across food data, lab methods, and ingredient documentation. The next time it appears, don't read it as code. Read it in context.